Hey friends, Miss Laura here for Virtual Storytime, our weekly virtual storytime at Bartlesville Public Library, which is every Monday at 11 o'clock. We're going to sing our hello song first. I wish I knew the names of all of you out there listening so I could say your names, but we'll just say, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? How are you today? I'm having a pretty good morning. I hope you are too. So I chose 3 books today with a theme. They're all about bears, including one about a teddy bear. And my inspiration for today's storytime theme comes from our January lobby display. Every month in the lobby of the library, in that big glass case, you'll see a beautiful display of cool things about the library or just fun things. And this month, our own Miss Melissa created a display full of teddy bears, big and little, all shapes and sizes and colors. You need to come by and see it. It's very cool. So I'm going to start with the book I got about a teddy bear, and it's just kind of what a teddy bear does during the day. It's by Jacqueline McQuaid, and it's called Good Times with Teddy Bear. Who has a teddy bear? Anyone? Excuse me. Woo woo. I was trying to scoot back. Good Times with Teddy Bear. Ooh, those look yummy. Eating breakfast in bed. Teddy Bear started his Saturday with a special treat. Breakfast in bed. He tried very hard not to get his paws sticky or drop any crumbs on the sheets. Next, playing outside. Teddy put on his favorite wool sweater and went out into the crisp air. He and his cat played hide and seek and kicked through the fallen leaves. What color is Teddy's sweater? Sipping hot soup. Teddy was chilly when he got back inside. The warmth of the kitchen and a mug of hot soup helped warm him. Oh, what's Teddy doing now? Is he painting a picture? Teddy sat by the living room fire and painted a picture of a house. His cat watched closely as Teddy swirled paint into puffy white clouds. Ooh, baking cookies. I'm really hungry right now. This makes me want cookies. Teddy's mom carefully took the baking sheet out of the oven and put it on the table to cool. The sweet smell of chocolate chip cookies filled the air. Teddy could hardly wait to taste one. Ooh, having a tea party. Teddy hosted a tea party for his cat. He told magical stories and snacked on yummy treats. Ooh, do you know this game? This game is called checkers. Teddy liked to play checkers with his dad. He was quickly learning all the best moves. Now he's watching the sunset. Teddy sat quietly with his cat in the glow of the setting sun. How big and beautiful the sun is, he thought. Snuggling in a soft towel, even better, a soft warm towel. After a hot bath, Teddy wrapped himself in a warm fluffy towel. His cat purred beside him. Now what is Teddy doing? Teddy was getting tired, so he read a bedtime story to his cat. "This will make you feel as sleepy as I am," he said. And now, cuddling with Mom. Teddy climbed up into his mom's lap. She gave him a big hug and whispered, "I love you, Teddy." And now Teddy is tucked in bed, I hear a siren. Can you hear that? Teddy and his cat happily nestled into bed. What a full day they'd shared. Teddy drifted off to sleep, dreaming of what tomorrow might bring. The end. So they had a tea party. That made me think of a song, I'm a Little Teapot. Shall we? I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. Very nice. All right. I have never, in all my years of being a librarian, I've never had a bear come to the library. But I have a story about a bear who goes to the library. It's written by Bonnie Becker, and the pictures are by Katie McDonald Denton. A library book for Bear. We have other books about this particular bear and his friend Mouse. This one's about a library book for Bear. Sometimes it takes a while to find just the right book. Bear had never been to the library. He had 7 very nice books at home. 3 about kings and queens, 3 about honeybees, and 1 about pickles. Bear was quite sure he had all the books that he would ever need. Then one morning, Bear heard a tap, tap, tapping on his front door. When he opened the door, there was Mouse, small and gray and bright-eyed. "We're off!" exclaimed Mouse with a happy wag of his whiskers. Bear frowned. He had agreed to go with Mouse to the library, but now he was quite sure that it was a dreadful mistake. "Completely unnecessary," Bear announced. "I have all the books I need right here." "Oh, there are many delightful books in the library," Mouse assured him. "Huh," Bear grumbled, but he had promised. So he buckled up his red roller skates and stepped outside, grabbing a basket for the books. Bear skated and Mouse rode in the basket to the library, the wind rippling nicely through their fur. But when they got to the library, Bear didn't like how big it looked. "There are far too many books in there," he protested. "Most excessive." "Oh, no, it's quite exciting," Mouse said, leading Bear through the tall doors. In the library were more books than Bear had ever thought there could be. He quickly found a tucked-away corner, but even here there were lots and lots of books. "Huh, terribly extravagant." Bear's voice was a little loud. "I shall find you the perfect one," Mouse said quietly in his library voice. "I want one about pickles," commanded Bear. After all, he only had one of those. But Mouse had whisked away already. Mouse came back with a thick green book. Bear opened it. "Rocket ships? Ridiculous." Bear's voice was getting louder. "A good book about pickles is all I require." "Remember quiet in the library," murmured Mouse as he scurried off. He soon returned with a tall yellow book. "I am not interested in wooden canoes." Bear's voice was even louder. "Quiet voices in the library," Mouse reminded him. "My voice is always quiet," Bear shouted. "I will find my own book. I can assure you that pickles are quite interesting." Mouse didn't look so sure, but Bear quickly spotted a blue book with a pickle on the spine, and Mouse sprang up the shelf to get it for him. Inside were pictures of pickles. but the pickles had little fairy wings. They were dancing with petunias. No, dancing pickles, Bear roared. Shh, said a voice. Bear peeked around a bookshelf. There sat a librarian with a cluster of youngsters gathered around her. The librarian smiled, but a mother squirrel squished an angry finger against her lips, and an old raccoon said sternly, "Quiet in the library." Bear turned back with a huffy sniff. "I know when I'm not wanted," he told Mouse. "I want to go home." "Surely at least one book," Mouse began, but Bear cut him off. "I have all the books I need." He looked quite certain. "Then we are off," said Mouse, but his whiskers didn't wag this time. Bear stood stock still. He was listening carefully to a voice on the other side of the bookshelf. So the very brave Bear began to inch his way toward the treasure chest, the voice was saying. "I'm ready," began Mouse. "Shh!" exclaimed Bear. "It's just getting to the good part." "But you said..." "Quiet voices in the library," Bear bellowed. This time the librarian got up and looked around the bookshelf at Bear. Bear stood very still and quiet, as if he had been still and quiet all along. "Would you like to join Storytime?" the librarian asked. Bear glanced at Mouse. "We'd love to have you," said the librarian. Bear and Mouse scooted around the shelf and found 2 empty chairs. The librarian began to read again. Bear lifted the lid to the treasure chest, and inside, the librarian paused. Mouse and Bear strained forward. Inside, she said, was a mound of pickle slices, and each shining slice was made of diamonds and gold, and everyone shouted, "Hooray for the very brave Bear." And then she said, "The end." Bear stared dreamily into space for a moment, and then he looked over at Mouse and announced, "As I said, pickles are most interesting." "Indeed," said Mouse. Later, Mouse rode in the basket with 7 new books. There were 2 about wooden canoes, 2 about rocket ships, 2 about teapots, and 1 called "The Very Brave Bear and the Treasure of Pickle Island," which Bear read to Mouse that very same day. The end. So on the back of this book, it lists the other Mouse and Bear books. A Visitor for Bear, that's the one where they first met each other. A Birthday for Bear, A Bedtime for Bear, and The Sniffles for Bear. So come by and check one of those out. Okay, let's sing another song. A, B, C. Wait, let me clear my throat. Let's start again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Very good. All right, our last bear book today is by Kevin Hinkes. He made the words and the pictures. Old Bear. Now look, on the front, there's Old Bear. It looks like it's autumn time or fall with the red leaves falling. And on the back is Bear amongst some flowers. So maybe it's spring in this picture. Do you know our 4 special seasons of the year? There's spring, summer, winter, and fall. So let's read about Bear all through the seasons. By the time Old Bear fell asleep for the winter, Oh, it was snowing hard. Soon he was dreaming. Do you have dreams? Sometimes I have really strange dreams. How about you? He dreamed that spring had come and he was a cub again. The flowers were as big as trees, and he took a nap in a giant pink crocus. See that giant pink flower with baby bear fast asleep on the inside of it? Then he dreamed that it was summer. The sun was a daisy, and the leaves were butterflies. Part of the sky clouded over, and it rained blueberries. Ooh, next he dreamed of autumn or fall. Everything was yellow and orange and brown, even the birds and the fish and the water. After that, he dreamed that winter was back. The whole world was covered in ice. It was night, and the sky was blazing with stars of all colors. The cold went on forever. Old Bear slept and dreamed, dreamed and slept. When he finally woke up, it seemed to him that no time had passed since he had fallen asleep. He yawned and stretched. He poked his head out of the den to see if it was still snowing. He blinked, and he blinked again. And when Old Bear walked out into the beautiful spring day, it took him a minute to realize that he wasn't dreaming. So after winter's over, we'll all look forward to spring. And that's the end. So be sure, if you come to the library this month during January, check out the teddy bears in the lobby display. They're very cute and fun. All right. Thank you, everyone.